It's been quite a while since I made my last video. I think it's been maybe a month, maybe two, I'm not sure. But this week there was something that came up in a video in the social media, sorry, concerning a girl who went to a prom wearing a gown that she wanted to wear, and the rash of shit that she got for wearing this gown. For this video I chose to wear a gown that I have had for several years. It is one that I modified to fit my body, and it is one I actually wore to a friend's wedding. As you can see, it is one of these black, full, very tight, very sleek Chinese gowns with the slit going all the way up to you know where, and is made of a shiny material and things like that. The reason why I'm wearing this gown is because the girl who got in trouble was also wearing a gown similar to this, except it was red and it was in better quality, better shape, and red and black and gold. It's really beautiful. And she wore this to her prom. Now, a little history concerning these dresses for me. I have always loved these dresses. I have always loved the cut. I have always loved how they looked. I like the sleeve. I like the neckline. I like all of those things. And for my friend's wedding, she wanted us to go pretty wild. And so I said, well, this is a great opportunity to wear one of these and actually get to experience wearing one. And so I did. And it was a hit. I didn't go with full makeup and all of that. I essentially went basically as my androgynous self, but I didn't have makeup on. I just had my short hair and men's ankle boots. They're kind of like winkle pickers, not winkle pickers, yeah, or pikes, if you know what pikes are. So that's what I wore, and I had black hose on and this dress. And it was a very fun day, and I got nice compliments from a lot of people, men and women. Okay, so now we'll go to the history of this dress itself. When I decided to wear what this type of dress is called is either a chenang or a quipo. I'm not sure how to pronounce the other term, but chenang is, I think, how the name of this dress is referred. Now, when I went to get it, I went to a Chinese store in my city, or in my hometown, where they sold these things, and I explained what it was all about, and the Chinese lady that ran the store was tickled pink that I would wear something like this for a friend's wedding. There was no being upset for appropriating this style. She thought it was fun, and I thought it was fun, and my friend with me thought it was fun. It was all good. And so that's what I wore. Then later on I adopted it into my goth style, and it got a beating. It's in bad shape. I think this might be the last time I wear it. The zipper doesn't work anymore, that's why it bulges out here. The buttons are kind of messed up, and frankly I have actually put on some pounds, I found out. And maybe I can let out some darts or something, but see if we've got a belly. But the point being, this is in 2003, somewhere around that time, and the reaction was good. It was positive. It was neat. I had a lot of people liking what I did. Then in 2012, I went to the goth clubs wearing this, as you see me now. I've worn this this particular gown. I have another black chenang that fits a little better, but I want to wear this one because of the fact that it's shiny, and the girl who got all kinds of shit for what she did was also shiny. The other one is not so shiny. It also has a different fit. That doesn't really matter. The point of the matter is, 2003 and 2011, me wearing this was not a big deal. The only big deal was the fact that I was a guy, not trying to pass as a woman, wearing it. And that wasn't even that big a deal either. I was just accepted, and once again, I got compliments. Now this poor girl, in the year 2018, attends her prom wearing one of these dresses. And she looked good in it. And she is posing with her friends who are wearing normal-looking prom dresses that, frankly, I think look terrible. And she stands out wearing this really sleek, these really sleek garments, and you know, they just look good, right? Okay. She posted it on Twitter, and what happens? The Twitterati, shall we say, come out and accuse her of being culturally appropriating and being insensitive to cultures and all of this stuff. And I'm just like, what the hell? Another thing, before that wedding, another friend of mine, another female friend of mine, went to her prom wearing one. Her and her friend wore one. She wore a black one, the other one wore a blue one. And they looked great. They looked fantastic in these things. And there was no cultural appropriation. There was no getting upset with a black woman wearing a Chenong Sam and a white girl wearing a Chenong Sam. There was nothing like that. Sorry, my nose itched. But in the year 2018, we have people ripping into a girl for having the courage to wear a gown that's not the typical prom gown, and they're ripping into her for cultural appropriation. This is my issue with cultural appropriation. I think it is one of the least American values I have ever heard. When I was growing up, I was told that America was a melting pot, and it was a place of great diversity and melding of cultures and all of that sort of thing. And lately, it seems like that is forbidden. And this term, cultural appropriation, has come out. Now, I think originally cultural appropriation was about how people would take religious or cultural aspects and use them in a negative manner, making fun of. Sort of an example of that would be blackface. You know, and really blackface, like, oh man, what was his name? I forgot what his name is, but he was 1920s, did the full blackface. He was a white guy and had blackface and made fun of black people. Those are bad. Those are awful. And F that shit, right? But when you have somebody like myself who sees a garment or a style and likes it and wants to add it to their wardrobe, what is the big problem? It's not disrespectful. By the way, because I was so interested in the garment, I wanted to learn about the history of it. I wanted to see if sometime in the past, if maybe it was worn by royalty, Chinese royalty, and maybe even men. Guess what? It was! It was, if you look at the history of it, at least I saw one history of it, where a Chinese emperor is the one where it first originated. The Chinese emperor basically demanded that his subjects, both men and women, wear Chenong Sams, Chenong Gazams. I screw up on this statement, but of course they weren't as sleek, and they were made of cotton, and they were a little bit loose fitting, but they still had the ultra high slit. In fact, I think the slit went even higher, and both men and women had to wear them under penalty of death. That's right. The emperor, who did this basically had it that if anybody didn't wear this garment, they would be executed. And no, you know, looking at how Chinese executed one another, it wasn't a nice thing. But later on, it started being made of silk, had more embroidery built into it. The slit was made a little bit more sane, I guess, I don't know. And it became the garment that we know. And so that the reason why I know that is because I actually wanted to learn about the history of it and learn about its past and its cultural influence and all that sort of stuff. The only way I would actually have learned it is by actually having interest in it. And this is something I think people who cry cultural appropriation seem to forget. A lot of people may actually look into the history of the thing that they're wearing. And I just wish people would, stop using this term for when people of any race see something from another culture and see that thing and they would like to add it to their style. Show respect to it, of course, but getting on the case of a girl for wearing it to, I saw someone actually say something as trivial as a prom. I don't know about you, but my understanding is proms are a pretty big fucking deal for a lot of people. For me, it was no big deal. But for a lot of people, it is a big deal. And it's a time to celebrate, to, you know, really go out to the nines and that sort of thing. And it was kind of screwed up for someone to say it was trivial. I think to a lot of high schoolers, the prom is anything but trivial. It's a big deal. So, you know, it's kind of screwed up to say it's trivial and say, I don't want you wearing this for something as trivial as the prom. Dude, shut up. Oh, I think it was a Chinese dude. Chinese American individual that was having a problem with this dress being worn. So, the point of this video was the idea of cultural appropriation. Though I'm sure it had some good roots, I think it's gone out of control. I think getting on the case of a girl for wearing a beautiful dress to the prom is bad. I think it's really bad. I don't think it really makes the millennial generation look all that great. I think it makes them look really fucked up, actually. And you know, I'd like to know what you think. I'd like to know what your opinions are. And I will try to make more videos, but I've run out of ideas, and anybody has suggestions for ideas, put them in the comments. You know, what do you think of a dress? It's old, it's falling apart, I know, but I like it. I mean, it's fucking awesome. It's tattered, but I like it. So, that's really all I have to say. Aside from, you know, before you start shooting people down, accusing them of cultural appropriation and stuff, really look at what you're doing. Because, you know, something that I came up, or something that I figured out, is that, you know, people who cry about cultural appropriation, if they're not of American descent, or if they're like, you know, first generation here or something like that, they should stop wearing jeans, because jeans were originally are actually a very American garment. So are Stetson hats, the 10-gallon cowboy hat. Now, all cowboy hats, a lot of cowboy hats sort of evolved from a Mexican-style wide-brimmed hat. But Mr. Stetson took one of those and modified it, and it became the 10-gallon looking cowboy hat that we're all familiar with. That's an American thing, and so are jeans. So when a person of one culture starts getting on the case of another person for wearing a garment that's not their culture, if they're wearing jeans, they're culturally appropriating. And I know what people are going to say. That's ridiculous. That's not real. Yeah, it is. It's cultural appropriation. If you want to accuse people of cultural appropriation, then be even-handed about it. You know, accuse yourself of cultural appropriation. Or, how about this? Drop the whole thing. Stop telling people what to wear. Stop telling people that you can't wear this because you're not this race. You can't wear this because you're not of this ethnicity. You can't wear this because you're not of this religion. I mean, goths wear crosses, they wear pentagrams, they wear all kinds of things. And some wear pentagrams because they are actually witches. Some wear crosses because they are actually Christian. Others just wear it because it's cool, and they like it. They like the design. And I think a lot of them actually learn about the symbol that they're wearing. So anyways, that's about all I have to say on the topic. Please place in the comments your own thoughts, and make some suggestions for videos, and I hope you all have a nice day. Good night.